What's going on, everybody? The Omtech Pro is in the house. So, we are going to get this sucker unboxed. We're going to give it a walk around, talk about what I can see just off the bat, just from, a quick look through, what has changed, what might be better, worse, all of the above, and just go through the whole thing. So, hang tight. So let's start off by getting this thing unboxed, and I'll walk around. Obviously, things have changed a lot since I unboxed my 100-watt machine. This crate is definitely a lot sturdier. The plywood is thicker, so I mean I can see like this top double stacked half inch. So you got a full inch there, half inch looks like on the sides. Um, they put these reinforcements in here. Before, it just used to be screws that they just sent straight through into the other piece of ply, or into like there's like a center block in there. And then we've also got these metal straps. So we'll get some cutters, we'll pull the straps, we'll go through. And this, because it's so big, I'm gonna have to take apart every single panel. In the last unboxing video I did of my 100-watt, I just did the bottom and just lifted the thing off, and it came off really easy. This isn't gonna be that easy. It's much bigger. So we're gonna go through, get the straps off, and get all the screws out. All right, so top screws are all out, and I can't help but just want to take a peek. So let's shove this in here and just kind of, oh, yeah, there's definitely a big laser in there. Kind of hard to focus in the camera, but I mean, it's not too much smaller than the actual crate from what I can see right here. So let's keep going. All right, so talk about crates. This thing, yeah, it's 1 inch solid, like a double stack of half-inch ply all the way across. Across. That's the top, and there she is. Dang, like big. And again, so sidewalls, definitely it's even thicker than I thought they were. So yeah, you've got one, two, three, so inch and a half. You're going there all the way around in the top section, kind of in the corners and along the edges, and then just the 1/2 inch kind of sheeting all the way around the outside. Got some good supports across the top. I mean, from what I can see, nothing has touched the top of this machine. So we're looking good. Let's keep going. All right, front is off, and she's a beaut, and she's big. She's so pretty. All right, let's get the rest off. All right, out of the box, and here we are to take a quick walk around and just see what's going on. So open up the hood, and we've got our ducting for the exhaust. I'm seeing right off the bat, it's got dual ports in the bed that's going to suck out to the back. Trying to think. Oh, it does look like, so this catch tray, on my 100-watt is much steeper. It's deeper, and so it limited how far it could go down. So I think that we're going to see that will be better. This machine is the 150-watt hybrid machine, because it is going to be able to potentially do some 18 up to 18 gauge steel or sheet metal. And so it does not have a honeycomb. It does, however, come with these knives, and they're sawtooth knives. So once I get into this farther, we'll pull it out and take a look at it. But that is one question that I had to Omtech, like, is there going to be an option for a honeycomb? What does that look like? Because I'm just used to it, because it may just be a matter of finding out what works better. If the sawtooth is better, great. If there's something else I need to figure out, then I'll figure it out. But so here we go. So you've got all that. This is what the bed looks like. That thing, that shiny blue laser head looks pretty awesome. It is big. It's bigger than I thought it was. And so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all works, you know, what goes into it. Yeah, I lots of things to learn as I go through this. So your controller, this is actually coming with a Trosen controller. And it has to do with the hybrid. Like, it needed a Trosen so it can control the air, all the stuff. So we'll talk about that more. But the 100-watt models, the other, 130, 150, like if it's not a hybrid one, I believe they are still going to be coming with Ruida controllers. As we come around this side, this is where the electronics are going to be. So come in here. Electronics, everything's looking nice and clean. It's a big old power supply for that tube. So you can see there is the main board. You've got some of your drivers. The main drivers, so your X and Y are over here. These are servo drivers. So that means faster. So, and more consistency. The drivers are able to know where everything is at as it's running, and if steps get lost, it's able to do its thing. But yeah, awesome. This is one of the big things that if you don't know, you don't know, but if you know, you know. So that's cool. But yeah, everything looks really, really clean in here. So we'll go close that up. Walking around to the back. Just like a lot of the machines that have been coming out now, you still have two cords, plug those both in. They both have breakers. It basically splits kind of like the controls and the laser power is what it's for. So that's all looking cool. And this is the next big thing. So onboard chiller. The chiller is already on the machine, and you don't have to have like an extra unit that you're buying or extra space to house a chiller. So that's cool. Here's your exhaust port. Looks like it's a 6-inch still. Let me see, here's my tape. Yep, so still 6-inch. There is no fan. There is, however, a large centrifuge fan that's right under there. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that out before I get too crazy. So then walking over here, we do have, so this is the inlet for the stock air assist that is on here, the pump. But then we also have this air assist here for mainly, it looks like, the O2 for the metal cutting features. So I'm wondering, I bet I can probably still use that for my normal air assist and air cutting and just have that plugged in and then swap it out when I'm doing anything else. So then over here, we'll pop this open. Here is, so we've got the stock pump right here. Then you've got your solenoid that is going to control your incoming air. Looks like we got some more air adjustment potentially that we can do right over here. But yeah, everything looks pretty clean. And I believe this looks like it is like it's like the amplifier for the metal cutting. Not sure exactly how that works yet, but we'll get into the manual and figure out some more. So we're just gonna keep going, get this thing off here and plugged in and see what else is going on. Something that I feel like is super impressive about this machine is all the viewing space. So like you can see everything that's going on in there. You've got this little view window here and then across the full top. And the one thing that I did recognize is that this is, you can't really see it there, but it's saying that it is tempered glass. So like it is not acrylic. Like this is the real deal. It's not just some cheap chintzy stuff. Like it has acrylic glass there, and I mean it's heavy. Like when I pull this thing up, like it's got these gas struts there. They're nice and thick, and it takes some work to pull it back down. Like it doesn't just like flop back down. So I mean, once it gets to the bottom, it gets a little heavy and it'll clunk down, but it is sturdy, stout. This is not a plastic handle, it is metal. So definitely some higher grade parts and thoughts that have gone into this machine. All right, so I've had the machine set up and I've turned it on, and I apologize because I swear I took a video, but I'm going to take a video, show you the inside as it turns on. So we turned the machine on. I did get the knife bed all installed. So really it's just blades. They just sit in here and they have these little slots that they go into, and you just slide them down in there. And it's pretty good spacing. So one of my biggest concerns is that I've been using a honeycomb. I've been cutting on it. Technically cutting isn't great for the honeycomb because a lot of that air, you have less airflow. It gets trapped in the honeycomb, and this is technically better. But I was worried about it because having like hold downs and stuff can be an issue when you have material that like gets warped. So one of the things that I did is I just kind of cut these little C clamps, or the little like slides. So what I would do is I would put a piece of material on here, slide it under here, and I made it just high enough so that these ones fit like a 3mm piece of material underneath it and holds it tight against the blades. So that's worked out so far. I'm going to come up with something else. Maybe it's something that's adjustable, maybe 3D printed, but I'll have something else so that way I can make sure that things are staying flat, and that way there's no inconsistencies with height. So gonna get that figured out. But I'm loving all the lights. So the lights are integrated into the rails. And so right across the bottom rail there, and then across your Y rail here, your other X rail, there's lights all the way across it. So it's lit everywhere the laser's at. So, I mean, it gets a little dark behind it, but I mean, I'm focusing, like everything's happening right here. So I'm liking that. Looks really clean. You don't have like wires hanging down. Everything's out of the way. So that's really cool. One thing that I hadn't talked about yet was the actual laser tube itself. So let's walk around to the back. I'm gonna open this hatch. So open up this hatch, and here is the laser tube itself. So you'll see that mine has like a tint to the middle. That's because I am using an antifreeze in there, an RV antifreeze. And so that's the color. But it is a 150 watt tube. It is huge. Here are some of the specs. So 150 watt rated, peak power 180. It is an 80mm diameter tube. Length of 1880 millimeters. So I don't see the actual milliamp ratings on there. So I'll have to find those. So that way I just kind of know what I can shoot this to. But something that I was super impressed with is this now has an integrated red dot that sits on the end of this tube. So let me bring you over this way, see it a little bit better. But this guy right here, this is what is actually shooting my red dot. So as I've gone through and I've tested things and looked at like the alignment, this red dot is pretty true to where the beam is coming out because it's integrated here. It's not a beam combiner that's bouncing into a mirror here and then back out this way. So that's awesome. It's been really helpful so far. So that's going from there, it bounces there, hits the mirror here, and then goes out, and you can see it inside of the laser head over there. But then that actually comes out and comes down, and you can see it right there in my hand. So really, really precise for trying to get things aligned. It's been cool so far on the test projects that I've had. I've done acrylic, I've done wood, and coming up is going to be metal, but it's something I've never done before, so it's going to take me a little bit of time to figure it out and really share what that looks like. So if we look closer at the actual laser head, you'll see there's some other stuff going on. So this little box here on the side has to do with the metal cutting features. You actually change out the bottom part of the laser head. It connects to this guy and then down to the amplifier, or I think it's a radio frequency amplifier that's down below. I can be totally wrong in all this stuff, so just take it for a grain of salt because I'm still learning it. But yeah, so that's all right here, air assist, and this I believe is part of this amplifier setup. So over here, let's grab this bag. I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about with this other head. So this is the head assembly that you change out to when you are wanting to do metal. So it actually has a different tip. It has an air line for that. And what's this guy in here? So it looks like just screws to put that into place, because it actually has little screw holes right there, and you take down that part, then put this in its place there. And then this guy right here is the cable that goes from here and then on to here. So that's what I know about it so far, but that's as far as I'm going to go. Honestly, so far it's been really cool to play with the machine, and I'll be doing some projects where I can actually highlight wood cutting, acrylic cutting, all of the things. But this was just to get it out of the box, make sure that it's working, doing what I'm expecting it to, and start to make a mess with it. So there you go. If you have any questions, please throw them down in the comments, so that way I can do additional content to cover all the questions and give you the best look at this machine possible. Well, there you have it, everybody. That is the first looks, hands-on, of the Omtech Pro. This one, remember, it is the 150 watt hybrid. So it's got a 36 by 55 inch bed, and then it has the dual capabilities of cutting your non-metals and the metal. So the metal is up to like 18 gauge. So it's not super thick, but impressive. So I'll have more content about it and to share with it, but the thing is sexy. Like I've just been excited. It's been fun to play with, and I'm going to continue to do things and continue to research. The next video that I'm going to put out will actually be going over all of the specs. So I'll sit down, I'll look at the whole spec sheet and tell you why you would spend the money to get a Pro over the other 150 watt line, and make sure that you know as a consumer why this machine is worth the money. So if this video was helpful, please give it a like, subscribe, put stuff in the comments, hit, smash like buttons, all those things. And then we will see you on the next one.